We work hard so you can get hard. That's a lot.
Woo! I'm sure that was consensual.
It was fucking Carl!
Hey guys, Alec here with Dalton. We are Strictly Ball Business, and we are on episode 45, I think it is. Or is it 44? Or 46, maybe?
45.
45. We're going with that one. I'm not sure who wears 45 in our beloved league, but whoever it is, we dedicate this episode to you. Today, we're going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers offseason, some things that they've done that we've loved, some things they haven't done that we wish they would have, and we'll talk about the Sacramento Kings around those same topics for their offseason, and we'll talk about the Brooklyn Nets, potentially what they're going to do moving forward. They've made a couple moves already that we love, and the Wolves and Jazz made a phenomenal trade. Everybody has seen this has basically been the biggest news of the offseason already in terms of a move that's already happened. We'll see when the Durant move or trade happens here, but so far that Gobert trade is the biggest one so far. Next up, the Bulls offseason. We'll dive into them a little bit, and then the Hawks as well. So really diving into a lot of off seasons here. And was there one more that I missed there?
We'll get to it. Maybe the Kings. Did you just mention the Kings?
Oh yeah, I mentioned the Kings. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll get there.
If I missed anyone else, but yeah,
Kings,
we'll
Bulls,
just start.
76ers.
We're gonna talk about some moves that we thought were interesting, and obviously some more polarizing ones. But we'll also talk about some under the radar plays that some teams made as well. So starting off, what do you think about the Philadelphia 76ers so far this offseason? To me, it kind of looks like they're reassembling the old squad. Not sure how to feel about that quite yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what they lacked this place, in my opinion, what they lacked this playoffs was their offense. I mean, mainly because of James Harden. He just couldn't get into and be that dominant guard scorer he was. Maxey and Harris certainly did as much as they could. A lot of it leaned on them, and Joel Embiid obviously will always be Joel, and he holds it down on. I'm not convinced that it's defense that they needed, and they kind of seem like they're doubling down on defense with House as a good wing defender and more 3-and-D. And then PJ Tucker is definitely just all defense moving towards. Especially if they get rid of Thibault and get an offensive player in there, we'll see. And Melton certainly does help as your backup point guard over Shake Milton. That's an upgrade. But I don't see anything in the starting lineup that's going to change what we saw unless Harden actually comes back fit.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's been rumors around the league that they're interested in trading both Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle and getting somebody of more offensive force that way. But in my mind, I don't know. If you get rid of Tobias Harris, I think you're giving up a lot of offense there already too. He's getting paid a lot of money, but I don't know who you're going to get that's better than him by getting rid of him,
Yeah, I'm not sure. It would definitely have to be a position swap, and I don't think they have another forward that could fill in next to Joel and shoot and spread the floor as well as Tobias does next to Joel.
Yeah, are they going to start Danuel House? I mean, I hope not.
Yeah, I know he's
PJ Tucker. Oh, they would start PJ Tucker one day.
Yeah, and he has shot pretty decently. I guess that wouldn't be bad. I don't know. I mean, I would have said TJ Warren would be a perfect fit for them if he didn't go to the Nets, but there's not many players out there still. Maybe Aldridge as a backup big now that you lost Drummond. He hasn't re-signed yet, right? LaMarcus Aldridge?
Yeah, I haven't seen him re-sign. Maybe I missed the news, but so far I haven't seen anything on that, and I think he still wants to play next year. Yeah,
I mean, he'd be a nice pickup. He doesn't help you much on defense anymore as he used to, but he can get out there and play some valuable minutes as a backup big. If they were certainly doing well with Drummond as a big. This is just different aspects, better offensively than Drummond, but that would be
Aldridge
bad.
Would be a nice add. I mean, he'd give you a solid I'm sure 11 or 12 points a game, maybe on 6 or 7 rebounds. Why not? He's efficient. He's known to be a good passer as well. So I think that's a good guy to bring into your team.
Yeah. One guy that I think if they put some salary together would actually help out this team that a lot of people hate is Evan Fournier. In this certain role, doing everything and having things served up on him, I think he would excel, especially when he doesn't have to worry about defense. Knicks, they kind of like took him in. They're like, you're our second star now. Be that. And he just couldn't. And that's not him. But being like a fourth, fifth scorer on a starting lineup, he can do well. He played as well as he did with the Magic. So I have faith in that. Maybe Carmelo.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, could maybe work out. I think Carmelo could be interesting. I think they just really need guys who can shoot the three ball effectively. Maybe some guys who can drive as well. But I think mainly you're looking for shooters at this point. So.
Yeah, as they should. They should around Harden, and especially when you have a guy like Embiid, you need shooters because it's kind of starting to mold into like the same Rockets team, whereas kind of the biggest issue was one of their third best player was Clint Capella at the time with him, and he couldn't be on the floor because he was big. Granted, Joel's not like that. It's just, however, the system doesn't work as well with the big, but then it doesn't work as well without a big. That's why maybe PJ Tucker is going to be their new center.
I think, keep an eye out for Philadelphia to trade Matisse Thybulle and bring back a guy maybe at the same position, but who can score and can shoot, but maybe isn't known for his defense as much. Not sure what guys out there. Maybe it's Malik Beasley with the Utah Jazz. Yep, maybe Jeremy Lamb. Is he on the Thunder right now?
Jeremy Lamb, I don't think he has signed yet. He was on the Kings. But
last year's on the Kings. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Lamb's efficient. He's not in that bucket. I think regardless, you trade Matisse Thybulle. You signed PJ Tucker with the idea like, okay, we want a guy who we can trust a little bit more than Matisse Thybulle, but he can play, just as good a defense. Maybe not just as good a defense, but right up there. He's fully capable. He understands the system that, Morey is probably implementing, maybe similar to what Doc Rivers is putting out there. I don't know how much collaboration's there. Clearly, they felt good enough to bring in a 37-year-old on a 3-year guaranteed contract. But I think, it's got potential to work out, maybe. But I think that's clearly your guy to take over Matisse Thybulle's minutes and then some. And then you bring in some other guy to play a lesser role, but he's a bucket getter. I think that's kind of the philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, one guy I'd say would be nice to have off the bench that you get some offense out of a forward, and he's known to play well with James Harden is Blake Griffin. I mean, we took a whole episode to shit on him, but on the 76ers doesn't sound like a terrible idea.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how much Blake has left in the tank, but maybe. I'd rather try to trade for one of the Morris twins if I was them.
Oh yeah, the Morris twins would be good. I doubt the Clippers would be willing to give up
obviously Marcus is a lot better.
Marcus, yeah, that's it, not Markieff. But
yeah.
Let's go into another offseason. So the Kings, you and I have both been pretty excited of all the things they could do because they're very versatile, especially with the Sabonis trade. So there's a lot of things they could do. They certainly have tradable salaries. And one of the things we said they have to do is one thing they did not do in our offseason video is sign Dante DiVincenzo. Is this a big loss, or does Malik Beasley equal it out? Is he better? What do you think?
I don't think it's a big loss. Malik Monk, who they signed, I think is fully capable. He had a great end to the season last year with the Lakers. I think like his last 16 games, he shot over 40% from three, and I think he had like a high usage rate too. So really liked what I saw in him in some games last season, and with the Heat, he was good too. Honestly, when he went to the Lakers, I thought like, man, this guy's kind of discounting, or not the Heat before that. He was with the Hornets before that. I get him and Kendrick Nunn mixed up. But when he signed with the Lakers from the Hornets, I was like, man, he could have got a bigger deal. He took like the minimum with them. What's this guy doing? Yeah. Now he's getting like a decent payday with the Kings, but obviously I think he'll get a nicer role. I think he'll get plenty of opportunity. And yeah, I fully trust that. I think that was a great decision by the Kings.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, he fits into a bigger role. I don't see anyone else being the sixth man unless they have Davion Mitchell be the sixth man and he comes off the bench. Or vice versa. But as a six man, I think that's fine. Or even next to De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, I feel like he's going to help space the floor as much as possible. I think that'd be
Yeah,
great.
I think he'll get plenty of minutes as a six man. I think Davion Mitchell probably starts. Ideally, you put the high draft capital in him. You like what he saw last year too. He looked really good, and once they traded Halliburton, he had in a bigger role. He looked pretty solid.
Oh yeah, and you get the reunion of the Kentucky boys, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, both of them. I know.
Do they play together there, or they just both go to school?
Yeah, they were the starting guards next
Nice.
to it. They were really good watching them. But is there any free agents you think you'd be interested in? The Kings picking up. I know it's not that he's going to play reliable minutes for them, but I think he would be really great veteran is to have Paul Millsap on this team. He's still available as of today, and I think that'd be great. Even Etwan Moore I'd like fit. Just spread the floor, get another good vet. He can actually play probably a few more minutes. He's a pretty old guy, but still.
Yeah, I thought JaVale McGee would have been a good pickup, but he ended up getting a bigger contract, or longer length. He got 3 years basically. Yep. 2 years in a player option. So I was like, damn, that's more than I thought he'd get. But good for him. I think they're looking for some sort of veteran big would be solid for sure. You've got Sabonis, who certainly has, all the abilities to do everything. He doesn't need much, but to have a vocal leader on the coaching or on the player staff, on the roster, whatever, that is a veteran, maybe even Udonis Haslem, they convinced him to spend a year in Sacramento.
He's forever a Heat man. Ain't no way.
Yeah. But yeah, they need some kind of veteran. I think, maybe Blake Griffin. Maybe this is Blake Griffin's spot. Maybe.
I do think for past Clippers, I think Austin Rivers would be a nice backup point guard for this team. I think he's done enough, assuming he hasn't signed in. I would love to have him sign again. I'd be down for that. I mean,
yeah, he's constantly had a good role in this league. I feel like the Nuggets have kept him around. If not, I mean, he should get snatched up for sure. I feel like he can add something to any team.
Yeah, or Dennis Schroeder too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, sure. Damn, Dennis Schroeder's really not going to get a big contract ever again.
Yeah, he fumbled. That one fumble ruined his career.
He really fucked that up.
Yeah, if he never did that, they probably wouldn't have traded off for Russell Westbrook.
Traded so much for Russell Westbrook. Well, yeah, because every move that the Lakers make is just a rubber band effect from the last thing, because they're always just, we got to fix this because this went wrong. We got to fix this because this went wrong. They're like, we had to fire Frank Vogel because, he had to have a fall guy. It's like, well, was he really bad? I mean, he just was the coach of your championship 2 years ago. I mean, I don't know about the things going on inside of the organization, but to me, it seemed a little weird. And then, flipping between the point guards, it's like, we got tired of Dennis Schroeder. Let's get Russell Westbrook, give up everything for him. And now they're falling upward into Kyrie Irving, potentially.
Yeah, so, I don't even know what his package is going to look like. Like we tried to predict it, and it's it's insane.
I think it's just any first round pick they can give up with top 5 protections on it.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump into that. So the Nets, the dumpster fire, the now dumpster fire of the Nets.
Yeah, it always had this potential. We knew that.
I feel so bad for this franchise. In all sincerity, not even a pity thing. They were terrible when I really got into the Brook Lopez years. They were so terrible. They were just a black hole. Nobody wanted to go to the Nets, and they turned it around with Karras, D'Lo. They were able to get KD and Kyrie. Suddenly, I hated them because they had KD and Kyrie, but you cannot deny that the front office did such a great job. And then, I'm a rant a bit because KD has ruined this franchise. This with all this promise. KD came in. He's like, all right, I'll come play with you. You got to hire my boy Kyrie. Not a hard decision at the time. Kyrie was coming off Boston. He was There's no like, I mean, maybe some locker room issues, but KD approved of him. So you're like, all right, yeah, I'll take this top 5 point guard in the league. But then he asked them, he's like, you have to give $40 million to DeAndre Jordan. He's like, because that's my guy. So they did that. They did it. They're like, all right. Now then Harden became available. He's like, you have to trade everything for Harden. Go and get Harden. Gets Harden. Then they had like they had their playoff where they were injured in and out. On top of him, already the first year of his contract, he sat out. Did not even play because of his injury. And they were okay with that. They signed him to the contract they did, knowing he wasn't going to play. Him or Kyrie. Because they both came off injury. But then they get Harden, they do that, and then Kyrie's doing all this shit, and they're like, listen, Katie, we need your help. We don't know what to do. He's freaking out. Harden leaves. Then they're like, all right, we don't know if we want to pay Kyrie because he doesn't show up. And he chastises them for not wanting to pay with the most sensible. Who the fuck wants to pay Kyrie right now? Oh my god! And now he wants to
KD
leave.
seems to be just as delusional as Kyrie, expecting the Nets to just want to sign up for another full max contract with Kyrie Irving. It's like, dude, no, like we don't have to do that. That's not how negotiations work. And then he gets to request a trade when he just signed the extension within this last year.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so ridiculous. Like how much no player has asked so much of a franchise than him. Even LeBron, like I know, like behind closed doors, he's like, well, LeBron gets to run his team. We're like, okay, but he doesn't do it like this. Like he's a leader. Like he never let Kyrie do any of that shit. He'd be like, listen, man, no, that's it. Like I feel like not that LeBron actually runs a franchise, but he has heavy influence in every franchise he's been a part of. And he's never been like this. Like recruiting, yeah, but like, come on, man. Like, have some responsibility for you. Brought Kyrie, you got injured. Granted, that's freak, but like, don't blame like the franchise. They've literally done everything they could do. Like,
I know, and like Kyrie and KD they're trying to act like they're the victims now, and they're gonna do that for sure. If you ever do hear them in an interview or they're tweeting or whatever, they're gonna continue to act like they're the victims, even though it's like, the Nets gave you everything. They did everything you wanted, did everything for you. They even brought in a player's coach in Steve Nash, a guy who wasn't gonna demand too much of you, but you still disrespected him anyways.
Yeah,
and I mean, apparently, Kyrie would hold practices after practice.
Yeah,
you know.
That's a whole nother fucking thing. Like, what the fuck do you want the Nets to do about that? Where they're like, Katie's like, hey, I want you to hire. He was a coach for the Warriors. I forgot what a development coach for the Warriors. And he's like, I want you to hire him as coach. And they're like, okay, Katie, yes sir. And then Kyrie doesn't like him as coach, and whole season, like, the fuck? If you're the Nets, like, what do you do?
Yeah, like you guys are the ones causing the problem.
Yeah,
and then complaining about it. You're just out here bitching about your own problems. Like, what is that?
How can Katie, like, because like they couldn't fire Steve Nash. They could not fire him. They could not hire him or fire him because Katie would get mad. But then like they left him, and then Kyrie got mad at them, and now Katie's leaving because they couldn't figure it out with Kyrie. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's such a dumb ripple effect to get to this point. It's like, how can you as Kevin Durant not understand that the Nets can't just give Kyrie Irving that full max contract?
It's still a business.
And like, if he wants to, if Kyrie Irving wants to get traded, wants to walk away at that point, why does the instant reaction from KD need to be to request a trade? He's like, without Kyrie, this team's not good enough for me. It's like, dude, you get traded, it's not a guarantee you're gonna be with Kyrie. Like there's also the rumor out there that like, we want to play together, like we want to get traded together. It's like, yeah, fucking great luck, or good luck getting that to happen, man. Like somebody to trade for both of you in the same trade, I just don't see it happening. I think the most likely chance is Durant's probably going to Toronto, but you know, we'll see. I think plenty of opportunities out there, and lots of teams should be interested.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes to Toronto, he'll probably win a ring. Nick Nurse is like, yeah, I'll take all of them. He's like, give me the rejected stars, I'll take them. We'll win a championship.
What would you trade as your best package from the Toronto Raptors to the Brooklyn Nets?
If I was the Raptors?
Yes, if you're the Raptors, what's your best package you're willing to give up for KD?
So I'm gonna do my best. For KD individually, I'm gonna do everything I can to keep Van Fleet.
No, everything you can to keep. If they beat you down? What's your okay? Here's my best offer.
What's my offer? Scotty Barnes, Siakam, Malachi Flynn, and 3 firsts.
Yeah, that's a nice package. That's a big package.
But then he comes in. Yeah, pretty strips you. I mean, you still get Van Fleet, you still keep Gary Trent, you still keep OG. So you still have like the basis of a team starting 5 there that can do well. I put Chris Boucher in that. I mean, he's probably their center. Ken Birch is still there. They still have some pieces, but they'd probably have to fill in some depth somewhere.
I don't know about both Scotty and Siakam though.
I think
that seems like a lot.
With Kevin Durant, probably you have to do Scott or OG. I mean, they're probably trying to keep Siakam, so they're probably trying to be like take OG and Barnes, and then we'll keep Siakam with Kevin Durant because
I think that's more likely. Or
I think that's more likely what the Raptors are trying to do. If I were the Nets,
Barnes and Trent.
Yeah, if I were the Nets, I'd be like Siakam and Barnes, and then we'll figure it out. I think because that's certainly great return for what you're getting. I mean, who else could do a good package? The Orlando man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sounds like Lakers. If Kyrie's not going with KD, he's gonna go to the Lakers. It sounds so like they're just constantly in talks. Lakers are just like, who do you like? We'll pick up a free agent right now. Who do you want? Come on. they're doing everything they can.
Yeah, I think the Lakers are like the only team that wants Kyrie.
Yeah, I'm sure some teams want Kyrie. They just don't want to trade anything of value for him. And I mean
the Dallas Mavericks maybe too.
Yeah, the Dallas Mavericks, and they could probably put some in there. I feel like I think the Boston Celtics could put in a really good package for KD, centered around Jaylen Brown and Robert Williams, maybe.
Yeah, if they're willing to do that, I think
Which they
could definitely make it happen. They're willing to include Jaylen Brown, they made it happen. Yeah, that would be great. Like, you're the championship favorites if you make that as the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, and you certainly have the flexibility now. I think if you keep now that you have Malcolm Brogdon, you don't need Brown. I know they're probably going to roll out something like Brogdon, Smart, Brown, Tatum, Williams, Horford off the bench, but I think there's certainly ways that you can go out and get KD. And what Brad Stevens has shown, he doesn't give a shit about trading draft picks anymore. So he's like the difference between him and Danny Ainge. So that could certainly work out. But
I think it's just the difference in the timeline for the Celtics. Like, I think Brad Stevens knows like this is the time to be aggressive. So I definitely could see that trade happen. A couple others that I'll mention, I'd love to see the Pelicans. Could be really interesting if they end up being willing to include Brandon Ingram. Or
wait till the trade deadline for that, because Brandon Ingram, I think he's coming off his rookie max. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll have to look into that. I thought maybe he was not part of the same because he didn't have like the same max as others. But another team I was thinking of was the Cleveland Cavaliers. If they are willing to give up Evan Mobley, that could be an interesting spot.
Yeah, that'd have to be like Sexton, Mobley. I mean, basically everything but Allen and Garland, basically. You'd have to trade everything, all that away, which is fine. Like, I would for KD, but you're pretty stripped. Again, so it'd be kind of.
I don't think you're too stripped. I mean, you've got a good core with Garland, Allen, and Durant, and then you've got Ricky Rubio and Kevin Love, and you've got Karis LeVert still.
That's what Nets don't want him back. That's right.
They've got Isaac Okoro.
Yeah,
Can maybe be something, and Yeah. Oh, and then they have Laurie Markkinen, of course.
Okay. Well, we could see. We can maybe, if this drags on another few weeks, I can put together some trade machines, and we can take a look dive further into it on salaries and everything. But
I got a feeling this one's gonna drag on. But yeah, we'll do that at another juncture.
I don't even think he'll be traded by. I think Kyrie will be traded by the trade deadline. I don't know if KD will be. But our last free agency topic is the Bulls. I think I've been pretty impressed with some of the guys they were able to bring in with Drummond and Dragic. Granted, they lost Troy Brown Jr. I like him, but he wasn't that huge now. They're gonna have Patrick Williams back a whole season. Hopefully, Lonzo Ball stays on the court this season. What do you think the Bulls look like?
Yeah, I think bringing in a couple veterans was nice. Goran Dragic being a really old one. But a really savvy point guard still really has lost a step, obviously, but still, can get you some solid efficiency out of your backup point guard. And they've got Alex Caruso too, so he's not going to be their only effective backup. You've got a really solid guard core there already, I feel. And then Andre Drummond is just a rebound machine. They really need help with that and could give Vucevic some time off in some needed spaces, I think. Yeah,
definitely. I think you saw the strain of being the only center on the team, basically, for him. I mean, they had Tony Bradley for a little bit, but Vucevic still is coming into his own. So I think signing Drummond adds that flexibility, because Drummond is a starting caliber center in this league. So having a guy like that where maybe be like, all right, take your day. If you don't feel like you have to go out, force yourself out there if you're hurt or anything like that, I think that helps. Dragic, I think just nice vets to have. They're putting themselves in place to go hopefully take a harder run with, especially the re-signing of Zach LaVine was huge. So I think they're going to have their team for a while now, and Lonzo Ball's there. I think I'm excited to see this team again next year.
Yeah, me too. But let it be known, if he was a starting caliber center, he'd probably be starting in this league, no?
Don't get me. So starting caliber center doesn't also. So like a lot of teams, he's better than a lot of teams, and I would start him if it was.
But he was a free agent. If he could start as a center, why didn't anybody sign him to be a starter?
Because he can't shoot whatsoever. He can do what you need a center to do. It's just he's the very basics of a center. He's basically Kevon Looney, but can
these days he's in the wrong generation. If he was in the early 2000s, if he was in the 90s, he would have started 15 years and it would have been no question. But I think just and like offensively, he's not efficient at all. But I think for like this era, he just can't shoot at all. So like that's a problem.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying to spread the floor. It's just not coming along with that well. But I think he's fine. I think he's a backup big. He's showing with the 76ers was what he could do. He averaged like 8 rebounds as a backup big. So I was like, all right, so they know what they're getting. And he averaged 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for what they're getting him at and for what he does, like, it makes perfect sense. So I just wouldn't want him in an extended role. But if Vucevic does get injured, you have a pretty solid backup to step up. So not the worst thing in the world.
Exactly. So that's and plus Dragic, same type of deal. Lonzo misses a lot of time. You get a guy who can start and be a starting point guard in this league, and he can step up. So that's fine with me. I like the flexibility. We'll see where they go.
Yeah, they're just trying to get as many competent players as they can because they really fumbled down the stretch last year, and injuries did really screw them over.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lonzo didn't even play a playoff game, I don't think. And
no, he was injured for most of the season.
Yeah, and LaVine was injured for a lot of it in the playoffs, so there's that too.
Caruso too.
Caruso,
I think maybe came back late in the year.
Right.
But I can't remember, but I think and Patrick Williams I didn't think played a lot last year, so I think it'll be interesting to see what the Bulls do next year. It's a very strong East. In some ways, I think the East could be better than the West this year. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but there's a lot of solid teams here. I don't even know if the Bulls will make the playoffs, but they could finish as high as a 4 seed or a 3 seed. Like
I think they'll be top 6. Yeah.
their room for volatility, I think, is very wide.
Yeah, I think the East is very top heavy. I think we can probably name 6 teams that we know will can be in the playoffs, and probably 4 that can make the championship. Well, maybe 3 now that the Nets are falling apart.
Let's play a game here. I'll compare teams here, and you'll tell me if the Bulls are better than them.
Okay.
Okay, so the Bucks, they're not better than them, right?
No. Sixers?
The Philadelphia 76ers.
No, not better than them.
The Boston Celtics.
Not better than them.
The Miami Heat.
No.
The Atlanta Hawks with Dejounte Murray.
It's tough because Collins is still on that team, and I just kind of saw like their offense dysfunctional, like communication, and that's kind of a huge deal. I think they're.
I think Dejounte Murray can bring it together, maybe though.
Yeah, we'll see, but we'll have to see. The Bulls did do well with their core together, so I would put the Bulls over the Hawks.
Okay, he's got the Bulls over the Hawks. You've heard it here first. Strictly ball business. We only talk balls. The New York Knicks.
Yeah, they're better.
They got Jalen Brunson.
Oh, they got Jalen. Well, fuck it. Never mind.
The Orlando Magic.
Nobody is better than the Orlando. Don't tempt me.
No.
Temptress. Paolo gonna bring us to the
championship. In the dang East.
Pacers. I don't think they're better than them. Hornets. I mean, Pacers. They're better than Hornets. They're better than Wizards. They're better than Cavaliers. I do think they're better than the Cavaliers.
Ooh, okay.
I do think they're better than the Cavaliers as the team stands.
Yeah, I think the Cavs have more moves that they still have to do. We got to see what happens with Colin Sexton. So, you're probably right on that.
That puts them at 5.
Right now you got them at 5. Unless there's any other teams. I know. I mean, obviously the Nets. Like, we'll see what they do. Like, there's potential they run things back next year, but yeah, obviously a lot up in the air there.
They're also the only team to be swept, though, so it's kind of tough to gauge the Nets' quality.
Yeah, but if you would put the Nets up against the Bulls last season, I would have expected the Nets to win the playoff series. Yeah, but I don't know.
Let's while we're on the topic, I mean, let's get into our the 2 biggest trades that have happened. Dejounte Murray to the Hawks. We've talked about it. I think you've said that he would be a perfect fit. What do you think of this trade? They gave up nothing.
What? Well, they didn't give up nothing. They still gave up like 3 unprotected first-round picks, didn't they?
Yeah, but I mean, they're going to be good for all those years.
And Danilo Gallinari.
So it's going to be like the 20th pick.
Yeah, but you say it, but every team says that, right? They'll be good for all those years. What the Nets said when they traded for James Harden, like there's always the chance things blow up. So we'll see. I think they gave up picks pretty far out there, but you made a big swing for your guy, DeJounte Murray. I just worry it's like they don't have enough around those guys, around DeJounte and Trae Young. Yeah,
I think as a guard duo, they cover up for each other very well. As DeJounte covers up for Trae Young on defense, as Trae Young covers up for DeJounte on shooting. I think they're both offensive talents. I think it's perfect. Another guy that can take the ball out of Trae Young's hands. I mean, Danilo Gallinari, old, washed, was he? Yes. But he gave them the flexibility to play small ball without Clint Capella. Because
he's still a great shooter.
So that's kind of gone now. So you kind of have to lean into always having Capella, which falls into more the vein of what the Jazz had issues with 2 years ago. I mean, or the last few years. Especially with John Collins, because he's not the best floor spacer and does a lot in the paint. I still think, even though you got rid of Gallinari, the team changed, but Collins' situation has not changed. And I still think he does not want to be as a Hawk, and he has to get traded for them to start excelling and moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, if they could, still make a trade with the Sacramento Kings and bring back Harrison Barnes, I think, something like that, plus someone else would be fine. I don't know if they just feel like that's too big of a discount on John Collins, but I think the reality of his value is what you have to accept at this point. And if you want to really step up your game, you're going to have to trade him.
What about Collins for Wiggins type trade. I mean,
Yeah, that'd be great.
would you like it on both
his
sides?
defense would be great on the Hawks,
Yeah.
and an increased role. Maybe get him to like 18 or 19 points per game. I think he could excel there. I don't know. I feel like you just need more shooting, but certainly he's a good driver. So if you can get him some good passes from Trae Young, I think it could be a good pairing.
Yeah. I mean, he gets one of the best, if not the best playmaker in the league right now, in Trae Young. So that would help out. I see the Warriors. I don't know if the Warriors want to get rid of what they like about him is his wing defense. So like the scoring's just kind of a plus. So I don't know if the Warriors would give up Wiggins. I'd like to see that though. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think maybe the Warriors would be willing to do it just because they don't want to extend Andrew Wiggins because he's due for an extension.
Yeah, they do that type of stuff where they don't want to trade. That's what happened with Harrison Barnes. They traded Iguodala just to get off salary from paying the taxpayers. Granted, they didn't think they were going to win championships. That's why they traded Iguodala, because they knew they weren't gonna. So they were trying to save some money. But Collins, once they figure out that's gone. But I think that's a really cool starting theory with DeAndre Hunter, who I'm huge on DeAndre Hunter. He just has to stay on the floor. He's certainly a 17-point per game scorer. You get great defense out of him. At your 3 or your 4, Capella just kills me in 2K every day. Was yelling at him like 50 minutes ago, because fuck that guy. But I'm excited. I love Trae Young, so hopefully this pushes them over the top. This guard tandem. I'm excited to see what it does, because like they were, when Trae Young had the ball, they were the best offense in the league. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, he struggled in the playoffs when everybody honed in on him. So it's going to be important to have another guy who can handle it from a creation standpoint.
Yep, and that's a great point. So now they've done that, and Dejounte kind of loves it. Like he's a child of the greatest mind in basketball currently. Oldest mind in basketball. Wisest mind in basketball right now.
I didn't know that he was directly related to Greg Popovich.
Yeah. Greg Popovich birthed him. Right. It was immaculate exception from the days of Tony Parker. It was
Disgusting.
great. Yeah,
Absolutely
disgusting. Moving to kind of a disgusting topic is how many draft picks the Timberwolves gave to the Jazz. As a Timberwolves fan, what do you think about this?
Well, I love the big swing to bring in Rudy Gobert. This is the biggest news for a Timberwolves fan that we've really had. Maybe positively for the entire franchise. Like, I can't remember a bigger move. Like, Jimmy Butler was a big one, obviously. Then there was Kevin Garnett when he left the team. That was really big when I was a child. Otherwise, it's been a lot of years in the draft lottery. It's been a lot of years of not landing any free agents. Our biggest free agent signing, our largest free agent signing from a new guy to come to our team was Jeff Teague. 3 years, $60 million. That's the biggest signing in franchise history. So you have to get these types of players through trade if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. And they were able to get the best interior defender in the NBA. They gave up a lot to do it, but people do tend to overvalue draft picks in general. It was a lot of draft picks, but as a Timberwolves fan, I've seen a lot of draft picks not turn out to be shit for us. And they decided they would rather hold on to a guy like Jaden McDaniels, who's proven himself a little bit and looks like he can be the real deal in this league, rather than giving up a couple less picks. So I'm glad that they decided to keep a young guy, because I think they have a really solid core here that's worth building around.
No, yeah, definitely. On the bad side of it, yeah, a lot of picks. The front office did what they could. They're like, listen, we're gonna sign Cat down a long time. We have Gobert for a long time. it's going to be like 8 years by the time we're done giving them picks, but they still, the Seppian rule's still there. It's not like they go without draft picks. I think they're confident in enough. If they can win one title, I mean, this move suddenly, like a lot of people around the league, just fans, like I'm in my Magic groups, and all of them said they're like, oh, well, Timberwolves top 4 team in the West, like just guys who like didn't even, they're Magic fans, and they say that. So it's a lot saying it, but I think it was a genius move. I mean, I know when we put our trades together, I went for Donovan Mitchell, but this is a great fit. I didn't think they would go away from. I mean, Anthony Davis won a title as a power forward, and maybe that's what Cat needs to do, is move to the power forward so he can really unlock his offensive potential. I mean, and it kind of covers up the Gobert issue. So Gobert, I mean, their huge issue we were just talking about with Clint Capella is that he's a lot better at guarding guards now. Like that he's learning and he's getting there, but now offensively he's just not there. He's just incapable of being there in the playoffs, and so people played small ball and took him off the floor. Now with Cat, you can't play small ball. It's so genius because if you move your center off the board and you're like, all right, we're gonna run centers, you're gonna have a small forward go out and guard Cat. A small forward's gonna guard a 6'10" guy. I'm like, he'll love that. He's a matchup hunter. He'll eat that up. And
if for some reason they did play small ball, they put Cat at the center position for that, and they slide McDaniels over at the 4 if Gobert does need to come off the floor for a little bit. But regardless, it's gonna be hard to get through both of them and McDaniels.
And Chris Finch is definitely going to utilize Chris Finch and D'Lo are definitely going to utilize a big like Gobert more in their offense. But also, that's kind of the flexibility of getting Kyle Anderson, because he can play the 3 or 4 if you try to go small. But to stay, so Rudy Gobert, so the Wolves, you look at it, they were 25th in rebounding this league. Gobert alone was 2nd in defensive rebounding this league. So all those frustrations you and I had when we watched it, where they just couldn't get a defensive rebound, it's there now. They got it.
It just shored up the problems with one move right there.
Yeah, and to add some more confidence into this trade, everyone's complaining about spacing. How are they going to do this? Jared Vanderbilt played 25 minutes a game, shot 14 threes throughout the entire series. Did not play out at all. He stayed in the paint. He stayed in the dunker's position and only made 2. So he was 2 for 14 the whole season. Played 25 minutes a game. Gobert, same deal. Granted, he's going to spend a little more time in the paint, but he only shot 4 threes, didn't make any of them. But it's really not that big of a difference from what the system they had. So a little more confidence into that. I mean, like I'm super excited to see what this team does. It's not that big of a change from the offensive scheme they already have.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Towns and Vanderbilt play together. They worked well together. And Gobert is just like what Vanderbilt is times 100. So, you do that, you go big or go home. And this is a franchise that needed to go big. They got a taste of the playoffs last year. This is a new ownership franchise, or owning this franchise now with Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez. And reportedly, Mark Lowry is very into analytics, and he bases that off a lot of the direction for the team. So when he brought in Tim Connolly, I fully expect that was because of his great scouting ability, his great way to find players, diamonds in the roughs, because of their their stats and what they had done at the college level and at the G League level. And he trusted him to make a big decision like that. In bringing in Rudy Gobert, he wanted him to make this big splash, and I think that was probably a prerequisite in the interview. It was like, "Hey, are you ready to make a big splash this offseason?"
And he's like, "Yes, sir, I am," and he did it. Where do you? So let's play that same game. Where do you think the Timberwolves are? Are they better than the Warriors?
No, I don't think we can say that necessarily yet.
Are they better than the Suns? With DeAndre Ayton. With DeAndre Ayton.
With DeAndre Ayton, no.
Okay. I'm assuming without. Yeah.
Yeah. Without, I think we would be. I think
Depends on the return, I guess.
Yeah, I think they definitely could be better than the Suns, even with DeAndre Ayton next year. We'll just see what happens with them next season. They obviously had a great season this year, but they ended it with one of the worst blowouts. It was on pace to be the worst blowout in playoff history.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how you recover from that with the same guys in the locker room.
Right. Mavericks.
Better than the Mavericks.
Better than the Mavericks. Wow.
They don't have Jalen Brunson anymore.
I guess.
I haven't seen a single replacement for that.
Okay.
And like, what are the Mavericks big men gonna do against Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns?
That's fair. All right. Fully healthy Clippers.
I think the Clippers probably be better, but
Same.
I mean, fully healthy is asking for a lot.
Yep. Jazz are gone now. They're done. They're not coming back. Lakers.
They're a play-in team, maybe.
Hypothetically, if Lakers have Kyrie, hypothetically, if the Lakers get Kyrie, who's better?
Yeah, I think we'll still be better than them. The Timberwolves will be better than the Lakers in that situation, but the Lakers have a huge potential to be the championship winners in that scenario too. So, we'll see.
Yeah. Trailblazers.
I think.
Yeah.
Better than the Trailblazers. I think like the only other team that's like
Nuggets.
A threat is the Nuggets, yeah. Because they're getting both Murray and Porter back, hopefully.
Yeah, I'd have the Timberwolves at 4 or 5 seed.
Yep.
Hopefully they can snag a 4 with if everyone stays healthy and hope other team gets
3.
some. Yeah,
there's the Grizzlies too. Fuck.
I do think they're better than the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies haven't done much.
They should have beat the Grizzlies in this in the playoff series this last playoffs, and they feel that if they had Rudy Gobert in that playoff series, they would have won it.
Yeah. Richard Jefferson said something interesting. He said that the Wolves got 1 round better, which I agree with because
I'm not saying a base, but like you can always potentially do better than your expectations too.
So if he says 1 round better, I'm okay with them almost getting to the conference finals next year. If that's what he says, because they took first round 6 games.
6, yeah.
If they did that, that's really close. And like that, if that can shore it up, if they only get 1 round better, that's conference finals, and I'd be okay with it. I put them
for like next season. I think that's a great step in the right direction. Another season in a row of being in the playoffs, getting to the second round, almost to the conference finals. I think, you just got to have the mentality now of finals or bust. But obviously, you're just bringing this team together, so you're not going to blow anything up after next year. But there is always a change to be made every season, and I guarantee that this season is really the D'Angelo Russell season. Do we find out whether they want to extend him or not?
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. But also, speaking of the Grizzlies, if we want to diverge, what do you think of the turncoat himself, Slow-Mo, joining the Timberwolves?
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense for the Minnesota Timberwolves to bring in a guy like him. They had a problem staying stable in clutch situations in the playoffs, and this is a guy who's gonna, at least help keep things calm. And in transition, I think he's an effective player to have as well. So
yeah.
I think bringing him on board is really smart. Defensively, makes a lot of sense. Put him alongside Karl Anthony Towns in some small ball situations, or next to Jaden McDaniels. I don't know what you end up doing, but I think like you've got a really good squad here with him.
Yeah, I mean, you could put him on every team, and he's going to be a valuable guy. He's an all-around guy. He can pass, he can defend, he can shoot. It's just slow at everything. No. But I think he was a perfect fit. I think him and Gobert alone this offseason was great. I'd like to see them go out and get a better backup point guard or get one in the trades. But because I like Jordan McLaughlin, I don't think he's a championship backup point guard. And I do think they're going to be leaning on guards a lot, especially depending upon how D'Angelo Russell's season goes. So,
yeah, I do feel the backup point guard position is one I'm a little afraid of with the Timberwolves right now. I have faith that Jalen Noel is going to step up into Malik Beasley's role effectively. So I don't have too many worries about that. But I wonder, who's taking Patrick Beverley's role?
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to keep him on the Wolves. Who can you get that can perform on like a similar trajectory? Can you trade for Derrick Rose?
That would be interesting. I don't think they have this. Maybe that's what Torian Prince is there for. Maybe they're like, you know what, we're gonna throw him a contract because we're gonna figure out this. We're gonna get They want to stay flexible. Is why they offered him $8 million, so they could get Derrick Rose. Certainly in the cards. They still have that other first round pick they made too, so they could just be like, hey, take him on. We'll figure things out. And I'm sure the Knicks. We'll see how the Knicks do with Jalen Brunson. But my last question of the night is: Donovan Mitchell leaving the Jazz now, or is he still staying there?
I'm gonna bet that they are blowing the whole thing up and they are keeping things quiet, but they are going to trade him for a haul. I think there's certainly potential they could run things back with him. Maybe he's willing to stay with the Jazz, but in my mind, I think he's ready for a fresh start. He had a good relationship with Quinn Snyder. They've moved on from him for a young coach. They also obviously traded Rudy Gobert for a haul of draft picks and no young players that really are going to do anything for the Jazz. It sounds like they're going to buy out Patrick Beverley, which to me isn't a winning move.
No, that's super dumb. I was so excited to be like Pat Bev and Donovan Mitchell. Fuck yeah. I didn't know they were. So
I think buying him out, is kind of like hey, we're going to blow this thing up type of move. Even if you could laugh and be like, it's Patrick Beverley, whatever. He's a solid player. Like buying him out just signifies like, we don't want a good backup point guard on our team because we don't want to be good.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. That's what the Grizzlies did. I'm granted they beat the Wolves, but it wasn't Pat Bev's fault. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I think he's going to be a trade deadline candidate. I think he's going to play out this. I don't think he's going to get traded this offseason. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to give it a try. They're going to give it a try and see where things are. And then they're going to be like, oh, no, we can't do anything. And then, like I said, my favorite ending spot for Donovan Mitchell is the Kings. And I think they can certainly get a lot back for the Kings. But there's a lot. I hope he doesn't go to the Knicks. I don't wish that upon anyone. I like Jalen Brunson. Poor guy. He's going to have to carry that franchise for another few years. But
I think some things like trading a star player, you just have to let marinate a little bit. And getting into the season, we can find out some more about players. Like with the Kings, they could have their guy Keegan Murray play, who, by the way, just had like 27 points in his summer league game on like 10 of 14 shooting. They could play him in the regular season. He could still look great. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're offering him in a package, but we're not offering like a bunch of draft picks with him. Like they all of a sudden get some more leverage too, because they're like, hey, look at how good he is. See, we hit on that draft pick. You want him? He's guaranteed to be solid. We'll give you him and Davion Mitchell for $1 billion Mitchell, baby.
Yeah, if Keegan Murray turns out to be like even a rookie year, like 16-point per game scorer right out of the gate, plays good defense, him and Davion Mitchell's plus like maybe a pick or two, and Harrison Barnes, kind of hard to argue with that, Like where else are you gonna find one potential star and a potential like Lou Dort type player?
We'll see like what sort of offers are out there. I know like the Miami Heat are interested, but like who the heck are they gonna offer? Unless they're giving me Bam Adebayo, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it'd be like, Bam's the only one that would move the needle. But Tyler, it'd probably be Tyler Herro, but I don't think there's enough there.
I guess if you do Tyler Herro and picks, maybe, but like, I'm just like, I feel like I can get something better from someone else.
I guess depends what the offers are. If Keegan Murray and Davion Mitchell's on the floor on there, or maybe who'd the Pacers get? What's his name? Benedict Mathurin. Say him and I don't know, like Miles Turner and another piece are there. Like we'll see what they want to do. They have Walker Kessler now, but Interesting. We'll see how that goes. I can't wait to do this trade season. I have lots of shit I'll throw together, just for all you guys to love it. But that's all I got. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, that was strictly ball business. I think we kept it tight. An hour clean and mean and lean. That's what we are here. SPB baby. So I think we did great. Episode 46.
Episode 45. Michael Jordan.
45.
The one day he wore 45 because someone stole his jersey.
Okay. Yes, this was the Michael Jordan asterisk episode.
Exactly.
Episode 45.
Bulls 95.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you guys, haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. And we'll thank you very much for it. So strictly ball business. We'll keep it real next time for episode 46. Thanks for watching. Shit. I didn't know that.